would like to start the evening by singing the alma mater. I would like to invite Jim. You know what I sing? Just kidding. I would like to invite Caitlin Casey and Emily Marchese to come forward and lead us in singing. Any alumni that is here who would like to join, please do so.
I'm going to give a switch, and then I'm going to do my 1-2. All right? Okay. Or I'll give you 4. So 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Triton, we honor thee, proud of thy colors, red, blue for courage, and valor too. Our pride is in thy name, dear Triton, high so true. Let's all stand together for the red and the blue.
Oh, ladies, much better than I ever could have done. Thank you, Emily and Kaylin. Welcome, football players. Thank you for joining us, and cheerleaders. Welcome to the opening of the Coach Jim Doyle Pavilion. I would like to take a moment and introduce a few people. Coach's family. His son, Jim Jr., and his son, Jake. His daughter, Mary, with her husband, Aaron, their son, Greg, and his fiancée, Jenna, and their brother-in-law, Mark. His daughter, Kathy, with her husband, Jim, their daughter, Megan, their boyfriend, Matt, and their son, Ryan. Yes. His daughter, Peggy, with her husband, Gary, and son, Eric. Coach's brother, Joe, couldn't be here, but his daughter and Coach's niece, Mary Beth, is here. Blackhorse Pike Superintendent, Dr. Brian Rapisi. Scott here? Yep. Oh, there you go. Yes. Our Blackhorse Pike Business Administrator, he's in the back, hiding back there, Mr. Scott Kuipers. Board of Education members, Mr. Jay McMullen and Mr. Rob DeMalo. District Facilities Director, Mr. Robert Morka. I'm not sure, but I think my foreman, Mr. Robert Marchese, might be floating around here. And then we have our Triton Alumni Development Committee members, Mr. Ed McLaughlin, Mr. Tom Dorsey, Mrs. Holly O'Donnell, and I have Triton Administration here with me tonight, Mr. Tom Ambrose, Mr. Dan Rella, and Mrs. Christina Durante. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all distinguished guests, faculty, staff, friends, and fellow community members. The Triton Alumni Development Committee was established in 2015 by Mr. Ed McLaughlin. Ed and fellow alumnus Tom Dorsey selected the first project, the Lewis F. Capelli Courtyard. When this project was completed in 2017, Ed said, "Missy, when you have time, we would like to talk about our next project." It was then that Ed and Tom shared their memories of Coach Doyle and the impact he had on the athletes that he coached. We talked about a specific place, something that was symbolic of Coach's career. We decided on a pavilion next to the track and the football field. The project was proposed to the board and they approved. Some of you here tonight were present at the initial planning meeting in 2018 in the classroom in B. Carter. We discussed the layout, design, fundraising, and who could help. We had drawings from an architect and began getting a few donations. The initial goal was to design, build, and dedicate the pavilion while Coach was with us. Coach Doyle broke ground for this project with us in September 2019. Unfortunately, our project was delayed by COVID and then by the demolition and construction of Triton's bleacher and press box project. With the support of Black Horse Pike Board of Education and Superintendent Dr. Apisi, we could simultaneously work on the pavilion project. We hired the same contractor to construct the pavilion, and Facilities Director Rob Morka assisted with the oversight of both projects. This enabled us to move full steam ahead on the pavilion. Sadly, Coach passed in January of 23 without seeing the completion of the project. 6 years later from the start, our vision has become a reality. What you see here tonight would not have been possible without the support of many people. So on behalf of the Triton Alumni Committee, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge them. My superintendent, Dr. Apisi, and our Board of Education for approving and supporting the project. Ed and Patty McLaughlin for Ed's persistence in keeping this project at the forefront, his vision, his passion, financial support, and their true love for Triton. Instinct Graphics, Jim Jr. and Mary, for donating sponsor wall plates, and their entire Doyle family for your financial support. Derek Starts and Dave Burke from Sun Viking Hardscapes for providing the design and the construction of the columns and always being there for questions and advice that I need. NACOM for the construction of the pavilion. Cooper Monument for the bronze column plates, which are not here. The foundry is a bit behind and they are still in production. But Nick Capados, and I thank Sign Pros, the owner, they created and donated replicas of the bronze plates for us for tonight's ceremony, so you can see the size and what they have purchased, what you purchased. All the Triton alumni who purchased wall plates or bronze plates are donated to this project. My office assistants, Cassie and Donna, for tracking our donations, mailing invitations, contacting donors, helping prepare tonight's event. Mr. Scully, Vincent Pasalacqua, and Alexis Messino taping the recording back here so we can show it to everybody that couldn't make it tonight. Mr. Rob Morka, the District Facilities Director, my foreman, Rob Marchese, my grounds crew, Juan Ortiz, Dan Anderson, and Luis Torres, and the rest of the Triton Maintenance Department for helping out with everything. So once again, I would like to thank everyone for making the vision a reality. Coach Doyle retired in 1992, but is the epitome of the phrase, once a Mustang, always a Mustang. From the time he retired until he physically couldn't, he attended Triton sporting events, banquets, and took time to speak with the coaches and athletes. I asked former Triton football coach Pete Getz about Coach Doyle. Pete said, the year was 2005-2006, and Triton had to beat a good Cherry Hill West team to win the school's first football championship since 1974. I was about to give the team an inspirational speech before the game, and I ran into Coach Doyle after our pregame warm-up. While we were talking about the upcoming game, I could see the intensity Coach Doyle had in him. I asked if he would like to say a few words to the team. Coach Doyle was truly honored to say a few words, and after about 5 minutes of talking to the team about what it means to be a Triton football player, to represent the school colors, and to play with your friends. Coach Doyle had the boys pumped up to play. He was so intense and passionate. Triton went on to defeat Cherry Hill West 24-7 and won the conference. Pete says everyone I ever met who played for Coach Doyle always told me what an awesome coach he was, but more importantly, even a better man. At this time, I would like to introduce Alumni Development Committee founder, Mr. Ed McLaughlin.
Thanks, Missy. What a great night. There are so many fond memories of Coach Doyle, gathered across a lifetime, that so many of us were able to share with him. I'm going to flash back, and some of you will remember, the autumn of 1967, when an era in our school's history had just come to a close. Who remembers Triton Red and Triton Blue? Put your hand up, I know you're out there. There were two high schools sharing one building, two administrations, two faculties, two athletic teams. One school in the AM, practice in the afternoon. The other, crazy, practice in the afternoon and go home. There were no computers in those days, so I wonder how'd they do the bus schedule, okay? Kids from the same family attended different schools. The cafeteria was always busy, and that dreaded last period that ended around 6 o'clock in the evening, nobody was awake. The two football teams were quite different. Blue Schools was a powerhouse. We just inducted them into our Athletic Hall of Fame. They had 8 wins. Red School, not so powerful. We had 8 losses and a tie. Coach arrives. Magic moment. Surveys what he had inherited, and as a testament to his skills as a coach and motivator, he blended these two groups of student athletes who one season earlier had been fierce competitors. Where's Bob Dentino? You were in on that disputed play against Blue School that year. It's what we remember 50 plus years later. He won 15 games over his first 2 seasons, including one undefeated season. Went on to win a Group 4 championship and 5 Olympic Conference championships. Missy mentioned the Louis Capelli courtyard. If you have time tonight, walk up there and look at it. There's a paver in that courtyard with the coach's name on it. And I believe it captures the essence of who he was and the relationships he shared with so many of us. The inscription reads, Jim Doyle, teacher, coach, mentor, friend. A teacher he was first and foremost. This is the highest calling in this life, for without someone to explain to us, to show us the right way, to educate us, to help us learn, we're lost. Coach. Sure, he engaged in the X's and O's, the game planning, all those things needed to prepare his teams for competition, but he added an element, persuading, convincing, encouraging us to become the best versions of ourselves. Mentor. Off the field, he provided guidance, support, and advice, not only while we were students at Triton, but for so many of us for our entire lives. A friend. We remained connected with him till his end of days. He came to our weddings. We played rounds of golf with him. Thanksgiving Day as spectators was quite an event to stand right there and watch the games. He came to those parties at the Runnymede VFW, which many of you have attended. In short, he was part of the fabric of our lives. History has shown us the magnificence of the Big Three, and I'm not talking about Manny, Mo, and Jack. The Trinity, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin in World War II, GM, Ford, and Chrysler back in their day. Our Big Three here at Triton are remembered. The Harry Baudet Gymnasium, the Lewis Capelli Courtyard, and now the Coach Doyle Pavilion, all three to be remembered for all time. There's a meme attributed to, amongst others, Hemingway, Jewish tradition, Bansky, that we leave this earth twice, once when we depart, and the second time, later on, when your name is no longer spoken. Coach Doyle's name on his pavilion assures us that his name will be looked at, read, and spoken, and he will remain the ultimate GOAT, greatest of all time. He, having lived a long, good life, touching so many in a positive way, having influenced so many outcomes, we, all of us, are forever grateful for having him in our lives. And we will walk together with him forever. Thank you. We were also fortunate to have two Jim Doyles. And I'm really pleased to introduce Jim Doyle, his son, to say a few words about Popper.
Thank you, Eddie.
Very good.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody here for coming in on behalf of my family for the coach, or as my family would call him, Popper. I really want to thank the football team and Coach Tomio for bringing the gentleman over here to see this. Thank you, fellas. Coach was an amazing man. He played a huge role in my life, and I know for a fact in my whole family's. He would lead by example, always went to work, hard man, tough guy, but very passionate, and he was definitely a leader. His coaching tree here at Triton, coaches, a lot of the players became coaches, some became officials, the list goes on. And Mr. Smith and Mr. Ewell, they both reached out to me. They wished they could have been in attendance. I see Mr. D'Amico in the back, who worked with Coach for a long time. Thank you for coming out. I see captains from teams from the 75, Bob, is that you? Right, correct? 76. And of course, Ed and the whole crew from 68, 67. You guys are all here. I see Mr. Smith in the back. The list goes on. I will say this. My dad lived Triton football. He was a track coach as well here. This was his area right here. So it's so fitting that this pavilion is in his honor. He started out as an owl at Temple. He then went to Glassboro and was a bulldog. But he'll always be remembered as a Mustang okay, as a Mustang. His best teams, his best friends, his best players, and coaches were all from here. Coach, let's go tonight. Let's win. Let's win another one. All right? Thank you. Thank you all for coming in and attending. And a special thanks to Doc and Melissa and Ed. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Blackhurst Pike School District and the Mustang family and community, I am grateful for the Triton Alumni Development Committee. They have ensured that Coach Doyle's legacy will have a permanent place on Triton's grounds. Family and friends, you're invited to watch our football team take on ACIT, and we will be serving dinner in the cafeteria. It'll be ready to go at the end of the first quarter, but not later than 6:30. I know it's sometimes football time. I don't know what time that is, but no later than 6:30. It will be ready. We'll keep the buffet open until 8. So when you go in, you will go in. There's a door by the Capelli Courtyard. So if you haven't seen the Capelli Courtyard, you'll be able to check that out. And I do encourage you when you come in. I was telling someone about the hatches. Where's my 1967? Yes, we were just talking about, I found, and I have to share this, when I came on board and we were cleaning out closets and things like that, and at one point I found these wooden hatchets. I'm like, what are these? And they're like 8 and 1 on them. And I'm like, these need to go on the wall. So I encourage you to look at the walls because there's some memorabilia from your time hanging on the walls of Triton. So thank you once again. Enjoy the football game, and please stay for dinner. There's a ton of food. Thank you.